Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, this is BestInSlot and welcome back to the Aarde Se Rand, our African Planet Zoo sandbox build. I know it's been a very long time. I think a lot of people thought the series was permanently shut down. I myself occasionally thought the series was permanently shut down, but I was feeling it today, and we'll talk a little bit more throughout the video about what the plan is for the series and all that kind of jazz going forwards. But to describe what's going on here straight away, so we're going to do a multi-animal exhibit. We've really not done many of those because of how the zoo's been laid out until there, and we're going to do an ostrich, African buffalo / Thomson's gazelle exhibit, because they did all live together out there in the African savannah as well, so I thought it would make a nice multi-species habitat. And as per usual, I was kind of like sitting here for a while trying to come up with, what's the inspiration for this going to be, what's the idea for the viewing area. At least we're just going to build the viewing area today, and next video we'll build the actual enclosure itself. And I thought about people who go to Africa and you're on a safari or something and you're kind of like camping out there in the wilderness, you're in your tent and you're looking out at the starry night sky and stuff like that, and then observing the animals from that tent, and you've got like a campfire going and you're all sitting around telling stories, stuff like that. So that was very much the inspiration. So the building itself is tent-esque in its shape. It's got like this open wall at the front, which is meant to resemble, the open front of your tent. And then inside we're going to also build it around that kind of theme as well. You'll notice some things have changed in this area. This was once marked off, ready for... We were going to do that whole thing where the two worlds clash. We're not going to do that anymore because basically what I'm going to try to do is scale down a little bit from Planet Zoo. I really want to finish the zoo. I really want to enjoy it and do the whole thing because, we put a lot of time and effort into it, and it'd be a shame to not finish it and not get to the end. So in order to do that, I'm going to scale down on some of the more extravagant ideas I had, but we're still going to do some pretty cool stuff. I have just come up with a new idea as well for something pretty cool we shall see down the line. So just doing our pathways indoors there, and just an entrance and an exit. I just want you always want the exit to leave closer to the way you want to go, if that makes sense. This is of course one of our northern enclosures. And really we're just going to add a lot of wood for a little bit, so I'll keep talking about the plan. So I'm going to try to set myself a limit of only building for a couple of hours. It means the time lapses don't have to be super quick. This is only 7 times speed or something. I'm less likely to burn myself out. If I'm really feeling it, I'll definitely push for more, but I figure you guys will enjoy it more if we actually finish the bloody series and if we keep doing the series as opposed to it just dying, and even if that means shorter videos or less over-the-top stuff. My problem with the game really has never been the actual enclosure building. I really enjoy that. It's more the stuff between the enclosures, all the pathing and fencing and foliage work, everything that goes between the exhibits. I really enjoy getting into the habitats and coming up with new ideas and stuff like that, but getting there takes a while, and that's kind of the bit that's been burning me out a little bit, I think. But we'll see how it goes. Utilising those new Temple Zoo rope wrappings, they actually look really cool everywhere basically, so we're going to be using a lot of those. The piece de resistance, the magnum opus for this enclosure is definitely going to be the starry night sky. I'm going to get ahead of this though, it's a disaster. It looked really cool temporarily and then it broke the game. So at the end of this, when we hop into the actual real-time game, we're going to try to fix it basically. I'm going to put in a darkened roof, still using fabric because it's a tent, but I figure if we're going to do a starry night sky kind of thing, we obviously want a darker backdrop for our stars. This was also a mistake because unfortunately, because the fabric is sort of curved inwards, as you can see there, it's got like a concave? I'm going to go with concave. I can't remember. It means the stars don't... You'll see what I mean, but they're very difficult to put in basically. And I spent probably half an hour just adding light bulbs to try and resemble stars, but hey ho. Yeah, just a nice indoor little building. I want to shrink it down even more, but it still has to feel like a viewing area kind of thing. It's kind of like a half and half tent, half and half hut. And I thought we'd change the ground to just a little dirty dirt. again, make it more feel like it's out there in the wild as much as possible. Really trying to mesh the two ideas together. And I still hate the benches. Why can't I grab a bench and move it unilaterally, like across a line? It's bizarre to me, but whatever. They're going to sit there for now. They are going to be moved later on. I thought instead of just having them facing out into the Serengeti, is the idea, I guess, we're going to sort of curl them around a little campfire, which is really cute. And that's what I want for my zoos. Cuteness. Gonna grab our sign for the south. We've not done this quite yet, so the next video, there's actually going to be 2 more videos on this habitat. I want to do a whole thing here. So the idea was the north and the south are these disparate kind of regions. The north is moist, lush and all this kind of jazz, and the south's a bit drier, and they had gods defending them essentially who clashed in the centre. Now whilst I'm not necessarily doing that, I do want to still pay homage to that. And the idea is to have both of the warriors here, because this is kind of where the north and south divide. And we're going to have them right here on this right hand side before you get into this next big enclosure. That's why there's a big gap there. And they're going to be like having a battle. I'm also going to do something, so I'll tell you, there's my music. I'll tell you the idea for the future is to have an enclosure wherein basically we build one of the guys, maybe even bigger, and he's kind of like smashing through the wall or something like that, and then there's pieces flying through the air and hanging in the air. It's like a stop motion. If you've ever played Super Hot, for example, you know where you slow motion go around and shoot people, kind of like how that looks, but in Planet Zoo. I don't know if that's optimistic, but I like the idea, so I'm going to try to do something like that. Anyways, now for the stars. So I'm just going to keep talking. This isn't going to be that exciting. We're using the Arctic Festal Bauble lights. This is, of course, an idea we actually had a while ago in our Blackrock Zoo, Blackrock Park, and we did this for the wolf thingamajiggy. Like we had our little, I was going to call it an auditorium, planetarium. We had a little planetarium-looking thing, and we had this starry night sky. It worked out really well. I don't know why it broke today. I think the problem is there's too many lights, but we'll see. My problem was really, doesn't that look great by the way? It reminds me of that advert where they throw all the balls down the staircase. My problem here was trying to figure out how to copy and paste this across the entire thing, basically. And I realised that it was basically impossible because of the how the rotation was working and because of the bloody, you know, the curvature of the, it was just being a pain in the ass. The curvature of the cloth. So what I decided to do was make a second set of lights, and then we're going to group those with the cloth and duplicate that across the roof. So each double segment is going to be identical to each other because I don't have a billion years to work on this, but you don't really notice if I'm totally honest. Anyways, I'm just thinking like a curved half building, and that's like the shelter, but then there's like a skylight, but the skylight's made by, like, you imagine he's like stabbing into it with the spear or something, and then it explodes around that point, and we can put like wiring in it so it doesn't look like it's just floating. I just think it's a really cool idea. No idea what it's going to be for or for what purpose. It could even be just for the puff adder. It's going to be like quite a, you know, it's just a little exhibit animal, so it's not going to be that exciting. So if we could come up with a way to make the enclosure around it really cool, it could be like, if you imagine the puff adder exhibit, you know, the glass case, and then around it in like a circle pointing towards you is this explosion of material and rock and whatever, and then he's like behind it and he's like digging for the puff adder or something. I don't know, I'll figure it out. Anyways, getting rid of all the cloth because we're going to replace this with the Starry Night version after you give me half an hour to grab it successfully. This isn't my greatest work, alright, it needs a little bit of love. The outside needs a lot of love, the inside still needs a little love. Like I said, it's going to be a multi-episode thing. I'm just trying to get back into it and not burn myself out at the same time, because I know people were disappointed, and I was definitely disappointed. I really was just, there you go, it goes mental. Not only is it super bright, but the problem really is it makes the shadows go crazy. I'll show you it again properly when we get in game, but you can see it there, look on the left. We're getting these really like weird squarish shadows. I thought I'd mess around the settings, see if that helped, but it absolutely didn't. And the problem is it looks really cool. It looks really good. It looks exactly how I wanted it to look. I thought I'd reload the game. But it's broken. If I could just get the shadows to be fixed, it would be fine. And I suspect the problem is there's too many lights. It is a lot of lights. I'm going to add even more in a little bit, as you'll see. Just chucking some wood around the outsides, just making the building a little bit more interesting. The outskirts of the building are very boring right now. That'll be so the building outskirts and the battle and all that will be the next video, and then after that we'll do the animals, or vice versa. Either way, 2 more episodes and we'll finish this whole area, because it's a big boy. But hopefully that means they can be a bit more common as well, because 2 hours work, it's not that bad. I can handle that. Right now I'm ready for that. Anyways, moving these around to farm our little, whatchamacallit? Campfire. I liked the idea of people sitting around the campfire telling ghost stories or something, or just stories about what they saw that day in the safari and things like that. I thought it was nice, so I'm gonna lean into that. Also want some s'mores somehow. Not really a thing over here, I've got to say. We've toast marshmallows, we don't really do s'mores. Anyways, get that one out of the way because it's kind of blocking the view a little bit, but always want to have something that sort of resembles structural integrity, so trying to link the wood together. I think it gives it a really nice kind of like well built, put together, homely kind of feel, like rustic kind of feel, but still stable and unlikely to kill anybody, which is the dream, frankly. Was going to use the fire pit. I changed my mind. We built a fireplace a while ago for over here. We were doing our little South African hut kind of area, so we're going to use that. We're going to modify it a little bit, get rid of that stuff, just plonk it in there, fix it up a little bit, add a bit more wood, and they just make it look a little bit different. But we already had a fireplace built. It looks more like a typical sort of fire pit that you would make in the wild, whereas the other one, the default one's a little bit too fancy looking. You know what I mean? I don't take much stock in those fancy ass fires. Sort of blacken the ground around it, add a little bit of smoke as well. It's smoking because it's a fire. That's what they do. No smoke without fire, as they say. No smoke without sticks with lights under them, as they also say apparently. And then the idea is, as you walk in, you're going to basically just walk around. You're going to have some information on the left, you can have some information on the right, and then in the middle, as you walk through, there'll be like a little campfire scene. So it's kind of like the whole thing is meant to be a tent and a campfire, but then inside it, it's like a Russian nesting doll, basically. It's a campfire. It's a campsite within a campsite. Okay, it's kind of like storing a campsite within a larger campsite. I think is what I'm getting at more. Well, that's the same thing. But kind of like, yeah, whatever. We're going to chuck some rope in. Just anything to kind of emphasise that kind of feeling we're going for. Hang some up from the roof. Just gives it a nice... It reminds me a lot with the lights and the rope and the formation of... No spoilers here at all. For those of you who played The Last of Us 2, they're like, you know, dancing in that hall. It kind of looks... I don't know. It gives me that vibe for some reason. Not on purpose. I only just really realised that. There we go. Lovely stuff. What are we doing next? No idea. Let's find out. Together we'll discover. I will decide something, I'm sure. I was going to put a lion in. There's a lack of good animal models for most of the animals from Africa. It's really only the lion and the elephants. And the giraffe. Giraffe's got a pretty cool one. Lights are still broken though. No matter what I do, the lights are still broken. If anyone has any alternative ideas to fix them, that would be great. Because they went from being terribly shadowed, and now they're terribly shadowed, but they've got these crazy bright effects as well, which just looks rubbish. I thought we'd put some spotlights hiding within the lights of the Jeep, which I thought was a pretty cool idea. You know what I'm like. Those of you who do remember what I'm like, I like things to feel, I don't know, kind of like little slices of the real world kind of thing, as opposed to very zoo-esque. Got to get our signs on. Haven't renamed these yet, but obviously we've got 3 animals. This is our big multi-animal exhibit. Something we'll probably end up doing for the south as well, just so I can save some time, basically. Otherwise we'll be here for years. So 3 different animals. We'll have to name those. I need to go find the Afrikaans names for all of those. Got our little display boards, and of course we'll have our sticker collection thingamajigs as well at some point soon. I do already have ideas. One of the reasons I came back to this is because I've got ideas for the next zoo already, and I kind of want to finish this before we move on. I will say we're probably not going back to Temple Zoo, so apologies if you've been waiting for that one specifically. It was nowhere near as popular as Aarde, and there's a lot of work on it that it just isn't. It's not like building a zoo, you know. I spent hours rearranging stones, and it just bored the life out of me. He gets a little campfire and a little Jeep, and some pots and stuff like that. I'll stick some ivy on the walls. Remember, this part of the zoo is meant to be sort of lush and verdant and moist, essentially, and there's a lot more plant growth going around down here, so we kind of want to emphasise that a little bit as well. It should still feel like a zoo building. It just happens to be themed rustically, is the idea, you know? I'm not totally sure how I feel about it, but it's the first thing I've done on Sandbox in months. It's the first time we've touched Aarde in particular in months, so... yeah, it looks alright to me. It looks very me. It's not very like structurally like built or anything. It's just decorations essentially. Oh god, I would be a terrible architect. Right, moving on to our plant life. Little bits of that. Not too much. Trying to not go crazy. I'm not sure about the daisies on the edge. I'm not convinced about those. That is something we've done routinely throughout the park, but not totally sold on that. It makes it feel a little bit too outdoorsy. Although it's kind of meant to be outdoors but indoors, you know? I don't know, life is a confusing hellscape. I'm sure you all know. But yeah, sink some plants in the ground. That's the good old way, and there we go. It's nearly done, folks. I think this is close to the end. So you see what I mean? We've got like a mini campsite scene there, but then they're gathering around the fire over here, so that could all be together. And then it's within a larger building that's meant to resemble a tent. I still would like some more ideas about how to build it to resemble a tent or to give that impression. I'm wondering if we should colour the walls in like a green colour. That might be cool actually, I didn't think about that. We can make the walls green. And maybe change the roof up a little bit from thatched to something else. Maybe like a plastic or something. I don't know. Feel free to let me know what you think in the comments down below as for that. But of course, we'll be hopping into the actual game in a moment. Don't really know what I'm doing for the rest of this video. I'm going to darken the lights in the Jeep because they're a little bit much. A little bit of plant life. Kind of the idea was I didn't want a proper path, so we're using the little aloe veras to kind of like guide you around the area. Oh, that is it. Okay, right, nice and short. Cool. Okay, so we're going to hop into the game. We're going to try to fix the lights. That's really the top priority, and then we'll just talk about what the plans are going forward. See you in a second. Okay, let's see if we can fix this. Well, first of all, we'll do a little... So there it is. It's very dark inside. It is really built around the nighttime... Shut up, world. The nighttime viewing. You can see how crazy the lights look. They're like in this permanent... weird glow mode. Even the little ones are like massively glowing more than they should be. I'm not really convinced this is working out how I want it to, but this is very me kind of thing to build. So the idea is eventually, obviously they're going to all get renamed. We're going to have the fight scene kind of thing going on here. That's them battling for control over the area, essentially. The two characters, if we pop over here, there they are. There's south and there's north. They're going to be doing their thing over there somewhere, and then lots of trees and plants and water, blah 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 blah. Because we are kind of in the north area. That'll be built next time as well. So we'll just focus on decoration and making this whole area look super pretty. Also, the outside of the building obviously needs some love, but I'm not quite sure what love, because I don't want it to be overly decorated. It has to look like a tent. All right, that's the idea. How do I make it look like a tent? What about? This is crazy. Maybe. What about like a semi-transparent thing? Can I do that? What about if we have like a glass? How would I do that? I don't know if I can. Let me get some glass. Let me have a little test here. I don't think you can do sort of transparent layers in this, can you? I need like a glass wall or something. Where's my normal glass walls? Crumble, crumble, crumble. Bear with me. There you go. Nope. Nope. Just need a normal... Why am I struggling so much with this? Okay, there we go, whatever. You can't be coloured, can you? But can we put something in front of this that wouldn't colour it entirely? Can we make transparent colours, is what I'm getting at. What we could do to do it is maybe replace this with a double layer of glass and put like lights between it to make it green. Or... I don't want it to be transparent though, do I? So it's a tent. Tents aren't transparent. So we could just do like a plasticky kind of coating. I don't know. I don't know how much I want it to look like a giant tent as opposed to a building, but it clearly needs something. So feel free to hit me up with some ideas. As for the inside, I'm pretty happy with it actually, by and large. I've got lots of things to rename, blah blah. We'll wait until we actually have the animals in. But I think here, sitting at the campfire, you know, looking out across the savannah, all the animals, we're going to make this a nice big enclosure because we don't need to go down here again, so this can be humongous. This is all going to be for the south, and then that's going to cross over down here. So this part, the north, is actually going to go over here next, and in here, because of course our hippo tour is going to go all the way around there as well. Right, so the lights are the problem child right now. So let's knock it to nighttime. So this is the first problem. The lights are like crazy. I don't know what they're doing, but they've gone mental. The actual shadows are alright though. It's kind of fixed itself. For some reason the lights are much brighter than they were. It looks really over the top to me now. like it's too bright, surely, right? It's because even the little ones are like crazy. You see how bright they are? Maybe I can... Broke it again. This is the problem. I really like how the car looks. I think that looks great. Like the Jeep lights, I think that's really cool. I suspect I have to redo the sky. Unfortunately. I don't see a way around this without actually just full-on redoing it. I think this looks really nice though. And this, look at that. Little smoky campfire. So much of it looks nice, but this is too much. Son of a bitch. Right. Maybe what I do is we don't do the fabric. Let me have a little think here. What if we replace this roof? We can always lay something above it, but if we replace the roof with like a flat block, kind of like we did... Yeah, I think that's a better idea. If we replace the roof with just the flat black block like we did in the wolf enclosure back in Blackrock, then we should be able to poke the lights into it in relative ease. Let me try to get a piece for this roof here. Let me have a little look what we've got. Although saying that, that's the night sky right there. I mean, is that not what I want? Maybe that's better. Maybe I don't need this. Huh. I'm not going to save this, but let's do a little experimenting. It's a shame to get rid of that, because it was cool. Or if we just kind of like slice it down this side in the middle. And the idea is you're meant to experience this at nighttime, right? So we can kind of assume that's the case, and yeah, it might look alright in the daytime as well anyway. Let's have a look. And it also makes the building look more interesting. We can always replace that with glass, of course, so it doesn't look... Maybe let's do that. Let's put some glass in. Otherwise, people will die. Alright, so let me find glass. And let's just go on architecture. We're just looking for the 2-meter roof. I will find it. There it is. Okay. Okay, and on the other side... I miss doing this. Part of it is I get frustrated, because I think other people are much better at this than I am, and I'm not being like overly harsh on myself, but people build incredible things on this game. And between the second channel and the streams and everything, I don't feel like I've got the time to even put that much in, and it gets a little frustrating sometimes. But it's fun, and we can be our own thing at the end of the day. That's way nicer! This looks awesome! Oh, I like that a lot. And the music. Oh, I really like that now. Campfire's looking nicer, the lights are working, the little Jeep's looking great with the spotlights. They're all lit up at the side, the tent's lit up. That makes me happy. I kind of want to double up again, like have the whole roof be glass. That might be too much. I have to have a little think about that, but that looks pretty sweet. I really like that, and it does make the building inherently, like instantly, look more interesting. I definitely don't want to make all of it glass. Yeah, I really like that. So I don't know what I'm going to do to make this back wall more interesting. We may just cover it in plant life, basically, and kind of hide it in the brush. We might even put like a mountainous kind of area here, because I think you would build your tent in that kind of zone. You'd kind of like hide it back against the wall a little bit, but we'll have to have a little think about that. But yeah, how's it look at daytime? It's important. Blinding. Blinding is how it looks. Yeah, it's fine. I do prefer it at night. It is made to be experienced at nighttime. But all the rope hanging down and stuff, we could do more of that kind of stuff. More logs going across and tighten it up a little. Maybe there should be one going across here. From there to there. At the very least. And then maybe all the way across, but I'll have a little think about that. What's the best time of day to view this? I need like to get as much light as possible into the building. The Jeep is never going to be lit up, is it? No, the Jeep is refusing. Okay. Yeah, honestly, the inside, other than that wall there, probably needs some love. But I think a lot of that is what material are we going to use. Maybe I just drape some thatching over that. That might work as well. Maybe you just need some rope and some ivy to make it blend in with the rest, actually. That could be all it needs out of that back wall. Otherwise, the inside's pretty much done. It looks basically what I had in mind. It's a little bit more rugged than I initially had in mind, but I like it. It's like a little slice of a campsite inside a campsite. It's cool. So, like I say, I want to do the exhibit at some point. That's going to need a animal house, probably, and then something. It's going to need something to make it interesting. I don't know what that's going to look like. I have no idea what that's going to look like. I'm going to have to try to come up with something. This is always the hardest bit. I sat for a long time before this video. Like, once I get building, I really enjoy it. But just coming up with the initial idea, you know, how do we make this exhibit at least a little bit unique? You know, what's the hook for this exhibit? That's always the most difficult part, and I don't have any ideas right now for the enclosure itself. Like, what's the original hook for this Savannah enclosure? What brings it to life? What makes it special? But this is alright, and then I might do this on my own, the decorating ground here, but we'll see how I feel. It might be a video. I'm just not going to push it too hard, you know. We're gonna chill, and we're gonna hopefully get the Aarde finished, and then we can move on to our next project, which will have no obnoxious pathwork and nothing but pure, beautiful exhibit design, and I cannot wait to do that down the line. But we have to finish this one first, and I'm excited to do that as well. Right. Thank you so much for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. If you're excited about the return of the Aarde Se Rand, please do hit the like button, share the video, comment down below, all that kind of jazz. You know, no matter how bad things or like how burnt out I got, you know, the better the videos do, and the more I think you guys want to actually watch the videos, the more likely I am to keep going on. Anyway, it's just kind of how the world works. But yeah, cool, right? Cool. Okay, thank you so much for joining me. We will be back again. What day is it? Early next week, hopefully, is the goal. I'll see you lovely folks then. Cheers, much love as always. Bye-bye.
Rainbow Road.